What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Welcome to our big NCAA Football Bowl extravaganza. We have our experts in the house. We have experts in the chat. We're ready to captain all of these bowl games. First off, let's give recognition to the man who is ahead in our bowl contest thanks to a plus 390 money line on Hawaii. Big Ragoo. Plus 3.30 units, Ragoo. Great job. Congratulations. How you feeling? And very interesting round you had. You open up 7-0, complete domination, and then give some units back, sitting 7-6, 53.8%, plus 3.3 units, ROI plus 25.38%, average line plus 117. How you feel like you're seeing the board?
Good. Listen, I'm a realist, number one, okay? So 7-0, we knew sooner or later you got to give a little bit back. So I just caught a little lull there in the last couple games, but it's all right. 7-4, I take it with the plus 390. And you know what? I'm going back to my baseball reference because you see the shirt I got on? It's the same one I wore last week. And there's an old saying, you don't wash a win out of the uniform. So we're coming back at you with the same shirt get up we had last week.
Well, you are looking sharp. Hope you guys all had a great Christmas. Shout out to everybody joining us. We got Trap House Books. We got the Nuke Worker, Sebastian Cornwell, John Schwartz has the Bills in this last game of a 10-leg teaser. Has a -1. And I'm cheering for you, John Schwartz, coming to us live from Vegas. Got Sammy B in the house. Marlon Z, who I now follow on Twitter. Marlon Z. Mark Nicholson. We love our man, Mark. Trav17 in the house. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Max Smart. We had a issue with the lines coming out in college basketball, but we are all desperately missing Max's NCAA basketball action. So we'll have more of him as soon as possible. The guy's just lighting up and smoking college ball. There is Dan Kelly in the house. And I know what he means is the Jets money line, because Dan Kelly was getting us on the Jets money line in that big Jets-Browns game. That's what he means there. Kevin Riley in the house. The Reaver says, why is Peter Loshak not part of Daily Shows? Because he's got a well-paying job in New York. He's making cash right now. He doesn't have time. When he does have time, he does make appearances, but we miss him very much. But that's why. He's getting paid in full. Lamar Williams, Kamiko Senpai. All right, let's get to work. So the standings have Big Ragoo in first, up 3.30 units. I'm in second, plus 1.64 units. Then we have John Ryan Sports, who unlucky with that Coastal Carolina team total because it was the right bet. And we got hurt by the book options that we had. We got John Ryan in at 34.5. Ragoo betted offshore immediately at 32. It truly was an unlucky bad beat. You deserve to be 6-4. You're sitting 5-5, down 0.6 units. How you feel like you're seeing the board in the bowl season?
Pretty good right now. I'm, on an 11-2 run in the NFL, and the college football picks have been good as well for the ones that I single out. So I'm grateful as hell, man. Whenever you can make money, whether like Big Ragoo said, like you can go 7-0 and then you give a little bit back, but it's like that Apple stock that just keeps grinding higher, and that's what you want.
It's been a spectacular month. It's been it's very, very, very fruitful and perfect time of year. DJ Big Boss right in the mix here, 5-6, down 1.37 units right there. Very close. A nice little run could put you right into the lead. How you doing, boss? How you feel like you're seeing the bowl game?
Oh, man, I'm feeling bad about these show bowl game picks that I had, early in the week. Lines move, all kinds of things happen. Some of that stuff, I couldn't get all the way to the window with. But for the most part, I did well, man. And before I go any further, man, I got to give a great big shout out to John Ryan, man, because I'm a learner, so I'm always trying to learn. And since I've been on the show with John Ryan and following him on Twitter, make sure you follow him on Twitter, I learned a lot of stuff, man, and I really capitalized on the in-game play. I did put 60% and then 40, but I did it on the side with Coastal Carolina. So I ended up I hit Coastal Carolina twice, one at plus 4.5 and then another one at plus 5.5. So I in my own personal bets, I climbed out fairly well. So
I love it.
Nothing lost. But,
I appreciate
shout out
that,
to John Ryan, man.
I love it. I love it. Okay, well, let's get to work and attack this card. So we're meeting up again here for all you guys watching. We will be here Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern to finish off the rest of the bowl games. Everything except the the football playoff, the playoff championship. Everything. Every other game will be capped over these next 48 hours by us. We start with the Cheez-it Bowl. 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Remember, we have to make a pick on each and every game. We have Oklahoma State Cowboys, ranked 21st in the nation, 7-3 on the season. At number 18, ranked Miami Hurricanes, 8-2. Camping World Stadium, Orlando, Florida, 67 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 8 miles per hour. Oklahoma State opening up at -3. They're now at -1. This total opened up at 60. It's now at 61. And I spent the day studying the opt-outs as much as possible, going over each team's opt-outs. So let's attack. Oklahoma State had eyes on the Big 12 championship game before they lost 41-13 to Oklahoma State. After that setback, they squeaked past Texas Tech 50-44 before losing 29-22 at TCU. They closed out their season by traveling to Waco and putting a beating on Baylor 42-3. Other than those two rough games at the end of November, defense was their hallmark, allowing 22.4 points per game, 365.7 yards per game. Sophomore quarterback Spencer Sanders was not consistent enough this year. Completed 61.8% of his passes, throwing for 10 TDs, 8 interceptions. Junior running back Chuba Hubbard left the team after the Oklahoma loss to focus on the NFL draft. Junior Desmond Jackson became the number 1. He ran for 235 yards and 3 TDs against Texas Tech in his first game as a starter. Two-time All-Big 12 honorable mention tight end Jelani Woods has entered the transfer portal. He has left the team. Leading receiver senior Tylan Wallace caught for 877 yards, 6 TDs. He hurt his knee against TCU, missed the Baylor game. He has been upgraded to probable. So Tylan Wallace will be suiting up. We expect him to suit up. There's your very quick breakdown of Oklahoma State. On to Miami. Close the season with a disappointing 62-26 loss at home in North Carolina. After shutting out Duke the week prior, their defense let them down against the Tar Heels. They allowed 26 points per game, 407.4 yards per game. Led by senior quarterback Derek King, who completed 63.6% of his passes for 2,573 yards, 22 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He also ran for 520 yards and 4 TDs. Their best 2 pass rushers, defensive lineman Gene Phillips, 45 tackles, 8 sacks, and Quincy Roach, 45 tackles, 4.5 sacks, have opted out to prepare for the NFL draft. Their next best pass rusher, 6'4" freshman Jared Harrison Hunt, has been injured since November 6th and is listed as questionable. How are they going to put pressure on Spencer Sanders? If they don't put pressure on Spencer Sanders, do we bet Oklahoma State Cowboys right now? We are going to start with John Ryan. We're going to go around, and everybody will get a chance to go in that order. Counterclockwise, where it's Hong Kong races. We're going to start with John Ryan, Sports 1. Take it away.
Well, with the changes in personnel, there's, I think DJ said it last week, there's always underclassmen ready to step up and fill the gap. And these are auditions for those guys that are making the start in this bowl game. So despite the news, I'm not too concerned about it. It makes it a little bit, a wobbly seesaw type of thing. But I had thought Oklahoma State before the news broke this afternoon. And Big Ragoo also had some good information from ABC at his local affiliate down in Florida that he shared with us too before we came on the show here. So that was big time helpful too. But I'm still on Oklahoma State here. They have the much better ground attack. They are they're averaging. They run the ball 59% of the time, which ranks 26th in the country. They're averaging 47 rushing plays a game. They're averaging 195 yards a rush. Miami is averaging 163 yards a rush, but if we look at their last couple of games down the stretch or in the second half of the second 5 games they've played, it hasn't been so good. And if you give me a second here, they have they're coming off a game losing badly to North Carolina 62-26, gained 75 yards rushing. So the 3 of the last 4 games, they've been below their season average. So that to me is regression. Oklahoma State's coming off a game against Baylor where they had 261. 3 games ago against Texas Tech, 317. So with that kind of advantage, they can control the line of scrimmage, control the tempo any way they want. They can play slow, they can play fast. And, Oklahoma State has something to play for, more so than Miami. Lastly, there's a system I'll share with you guys. It's pretty darn good. 83% winners over the last 5 seasons, 33 6-1 tie. You're going to bet against any team, in this case Miami, in a game involving 2 average defensive teams, allowing 21 to 28 points per game inclusive, with the game taking place in the second half of the season, and with the team we're betting against coming off a loss of 17 or more points. And obviously Miami's coming off a loss of much greater than 17 points. So, I like Oklahoma State here quite a bit. That system, by the way, is 15-2 the last 3 seasons.
I agree with this call with Oklahoma State, and I agree with them being able to dictate the pace. But I think the Hurricanes have to play fast and have to put points up on the board because they're not going to get pressure. They're just simply not going to get pressure on Spencer Sanders. I'm leaning to making heavy moves on this game at this point. First off, John Ryan, official pick for our contest. Do you want Oklahoma State full game? Do you want to do a double-up spot here? Do you want to stick with just one play? Your call.
I would like Oklahoma State for the game, and then what are you seeing for the team total? It's probably about 31, I guess.
Oklahoma State. It says here, let me just make sure this is not a stale line. If it's not a stale line, then FanDuel is giving out a beautiful number. I just want to I'm on the odds.com odds page. Just want to make sure we don't have a stale line here. We're going to be shopping for John Ryan, and let's get there right now. College football. And yeah, unbelievable. FanDuel is offering you Oklahoma State plus a half at minus 114 or minus 114 money line. However you want to do it. I guess you don't want the plus a half.
Plus 114 money line?
Minus 114 money line.
I'll take the money line with Oklahoma State, and then if you have a team total on them, I'll do 2 bets on this game.
All right, let's do that right now. So John Ryan is on Oklahoma State money line at minus 114. And then for a team total here, and that is at FanDuel. No
team total
at this point. No team
Let's
total.
go with 1 then.
I could check Bet365, but they are not nice when it comes to team totals, and they're the ones that screwed you in that spot. So I'm going to quickly check. We're going to move down to Big Ragoo right now. Let me just see if I can get him a quick team total, and I can. And I can get you Oklahoma State team total at 30.5 at Bet365.
I'll take it because the implied line is indicating 31.
All right.
The 30.5, I think, is making up for that Coastal Carolina line.
It's still minus 120 juice. They're not that nice.
Ooh.
All right. Let's move on to.
Right, yeah, we'll move on.
Move on to the Big Ragoo here. Cheez-it Bowl, Ragoo. Hurricanes, Cowboys. Take it away.
Shout out to Dan Kelly in the chat and the rest of the chat, by the way. Dan's putting some good info on Miami in the last couple of bowl games, which they have. I'm in total agreement with the past couple of years haven't been very kind in the bowl season for Miami. Lastly, like you guys talk about pace, what they do with this team. The lastly is going to be all about the pace with De'Aaron King, that's for sure. And Miami's defense has been yielding a ton of points. Now, early in the year, I did have Oklahoma State to win the Big 12. And a lot of things, with everything else going on this year, a lot of moving pieces, a lot of stuff with the COVID. So I did place a plus 600 on them. They didn't get there, obviously. And the offensive numbers weren't quite there. And I thought defensively they would kind of lead that division where kind of Oklahoma, the other Oklahoma team, has kind of stepped up on their defense, and Oklahoma State's kind of been mediocre. So there's a lot of stuff going on in Bedlam with this team. Not a bad football team, a solid football team overall, but didn't quite get to the finish line like I thought they would. Miami, on the other hand, put some huge numbers up offensively, and which I kind of expected Oklahoma State to do, and their defense was a big-time letdown. So I can understand what John's saying in regards to Oklahoma getting to the window with them, Oklahoma State that is, but they don't have a De'Aaron King on the sidelines or on the field like Miami does, and I think he's the X factor in this game. I think he's gonna have his way, not so much with maybe rushing wise, but on the option that he runs with that defense that they're going to be going up against. I just think it sets up good for King in this spot. I know the public's going to be on Miami. I know the line's opened up at 2.5, is down to 1. I made a bet early when it came out. I took Miami on the money line at plus 105, and I don't know what it is currently. I think what do you got on the Miami on the money line, Jimmy, right now?
You have anywhere between plus 100 and minus 110, basically.
Yeah.
Let me just get on to the odds.com page and see what I can get for you. Is there anything else you're looking at here?
I'm going to be on the side of Miami as far as the money line, but I was kind of hoping them being an underdog, we'd get a little plus money here. But since
1 plus 100 at BetMGM.
Plus 100, yeah, I'll take Miami plus 100 in this spot. I think they're going to own the turnover battle. I think offensively they probably get a little bit more of a spark to their offense. With I just like De'Aaron King in the spot. What I do like is he's coming back next year. He's already came back. He's committed. He's going to not get into the draft, so that speaks volumes to me. He's got a major interest in this game, so I think it's going to be the motivating factor in this game. De'Aaron King is going to get the job done here.
And you're not concerned by the two best pass rushers preparing for the draft and skipping the game?
No, because Miami's defense is kind of going to be – I would lean over in Miami here, but I'm going to take the side on Miami.
All right. Very interesting. We move over to DJ Big Boss and his Clark Kent look right now. Boss, take it away, my man.
Hey, I got to switch up something, Jimmy, and I got these new glasses. I never wear them, so my eyes got to adjust. And since the water is real water today and not dirty water, see, that's the key to my madness is I got rid of the dirty water. Okay, so I'm trying to look a little cleaned up here, but anyways, y'all took all the words out of my mouth and I can't say nothing else. I almost said that Jimmy forgot to mention that Derek King did declare that he was going to stay. That means a lot. And we already know it was a plot to get him over there. Now he's staying the extra year. Something's up. And as far as the side, I think, I think Manny Diaz, he got an L in the bowl game. This is his second chance right here. He got a much better team than last year, I would have to say. Absolutely. And he gets to play a quality team, so he can get a quality win right here. So I think I would be hoping for Oklahoma State to have to be the favorite by a little more points, maybe like a solid 3, and then get a little value with Miami on the plus side. I'm really on the plus side of anything. I would like Miami, but I'm gonna pass on the side, and I'm gonna go with the over because not just don't say the adversity between all the players opting out and all that kind of stuff. It's gonna be a fun bowl. It's in Orlando. Only thing that I can say about both teams as far as what the numbers say is that obviously Oklahoma State's defense is not as good as they say, like a ranked number 10 defense, because they've been giving up plenty of yards. They got a couple losses on their record, all kinds of stuff. You can make a case to say that number is just a little bit too inflated. Plus, why would they give them a 60.5 if they were supposed to be a top 10 defensive team? So I'm gonna be hoping for that to go down, maybe 59.5. Anything under 60 sounds better to take an over, but I'll take it at 60.5. So give me the over in this one.
And you're getting a nice price or nice number. I should say at DraftKings, 60 and minus 112. There are 60.5. There are 61s. There's even a 61.5 at FanDuel. Over 60 at minus 112 is the best number. Well, I understand that there's a lot of Derek King fans. He's a great quarterback. If you take these two quarterbacks out of the mix, I think Oklahoma State is quite a bit better than Miami. Maybe that is not just, but I really do think Oklahoma State as a team is better than Miami. And then you take out your top two pass rushers from Miami out, and Hubbard's gone from Oklahoma, but it doesn't matter because they got Desmond Jackson right there. So with all that said and done, I am going to go big on this game. I'm going to go big on this game. I'm going to first half, full game, and over. So I'm going to go first half. Let me just quickly get that. Well, the full game over, I'm going to get the same as Boston, 60 at minus 112. Then moving over to first half in the spread. I'll have to quickly check spread and money line. I'll do this as fast as possible. I'm getting a minus a half at plus 105. Just see what the money line is. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do the minus a half at plus 105. There are so many ties. Getting minus 115 on the money line.
I'll give Oklahoma State one thing credit on their third down rate. They're pretty sharp in the red zone. So Miami's going to have to get some big plays beyond the, beyond the 25 to kind of. I mean, both teams are going to score. There's no question about that. So I think that a real strong lean to the over. I almost was going to pull the trigger on it, but I said, you know what? There's too many moving pieces here, like you were saying, Jimmy, with especially with Miami's, two top D guys, opting out. That was a concern for me, but I already got a bet in. I'm going to ride with it. I'm going to stick with my early look. I'm not going to get off. I'm
going to triple for me on this game. First half money line at 115.
Ooh, I hate that. I hope you win, but I hope you lose at the same time.
Is that a triple double dog there from that Christmas Story movie?
Sorry, say what, John?
In the Christmas Story, they do a double dare or triple dare. I mean, is that what you're doing here? Triple dare?
No, what I'm doing is I just believe that Miami is overvalued because they're the Hurricanes.
Hey, I just wanted to add something.
Or a triple bet.
I hear you. I'm triple bet. If you want to call it a triple dog there, let's do it.
A triple Lutz.
There you go.
Hey, I want to add though, one of the fun things about the bowl games each year for me is the player gift sets. So this one right here, not only is Oklahoma State getting a trip to Orlando, Florida, but they also walk away with a $400 Amazon gift card, a watch, and a backpack. Hey.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to the Alamo Bowl, 9 p.m. Eastern. Number 20th ranked Texas Longhorns, 6-3 on the season versus Colorado Buffaloes, 4-1 on the season. The Alamodome, San Antonio, Texas. Texas closed out the season by winning 4 of 5. They open up as 13.5-point favorites. It moves to 8, and I'm like, and then we're going to talk about the opt-outs. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. And I actually thought that at that point, because there was a big move during the day today when it went from 9.5 to 8, I think it'll get bought back and start going back up. So I bet first half -5 and full game -8. But the leading indicator books are telling you it's going to 7. It's at 7 now. It could go down to 6.5. I was wrong. Okay, Texas won tight games over Oklahoma State and West Virginia before losing 23-20 home to Iowa State. They closed out the season by winning 69-31 at Kansas State. Led by senior quarterback Sam Ehlinger, they averaged 41.3 points, gained 457.3 yards per game. Ehlinger completed 60.1% of his passes for 2,406 yards, 25 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Top receiver Brennan Eagles caught 28 passes for 469 yards, 5 TDs. He's opted out of the game, declaring himself eligible for the draft. Texas still has weapons at wide receiver. So now I know that Eagles at 6'4" is a very important target, but as far as I've studied, Joshua Moore, Jake Smith, Tariq Black are all in. Now, 6'7" tight end Jared Wiley is questionable with the shoulder injury. This huge market move makes me think maybe he's not going to be there. On defense, they've been hurt by opt-outs. Team leader in sacks, Joseph Osai. Senior safety, Chris Brown. Defensive lineman Taquan Smith have all opted out to prepare for the draft. I just really believe that they have enough to still get through here. And we'll talk about why. Colorado's won 4 straight. Had won 4 straight before closing the season with the 38-21 loss at home versus Utah. Senior quarterback Sam Neuer struggled at times, completing just 58.4% of his passes for 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He's been dealing with a shoulder injury, but he's been upgraded to probable for the big game. They're led by sophomore running back Jarek Broussard, who ran for 813 yards in their 5 games, including 301 in Arizona. Their best defender, senior linebacker Nate Landman, tore his Achilles in the game against Utah. And the whole game changed. You got Landman off the field. Utah could put up points at will. Their defense was shredded after he got hurt. I'm making moves here on the Texas Longhorns, and I guess I shouldn't have bet it today when I was so excited to bet it. We'll start with the Big Ragoo here. Longhorns, Buffaloes, take it away.
Yep, Longhorns and the Buffs. Now the Buffs, they're pretty good at putting pressure, getting into the backfield, creating a little bit of havoc. Short schedule with them. They played 5 games where they 4-1. They finished up on the year, like you said, 4-game winning streak.
4-1.
And Texas, it took them a little while to get going, but we got Tebow Light and Ellinger. I like this kid a lot. He's been in the big games before. He's always produced, when the money's on the line. And I think we're getting a little bit short on the number because of what Colorado's recency, what they got going on. I think it's going to be the Ellinger show here. And I didn't get to the window with the squad yet, but I was kind of waiting to kind of see which way the money was going to come in on. And I'm hoping it's probably going to be a last minute, not for the show purposes, but for me to get to the window. And Tom Herman, he's kind of underperformed. He's been on the hot seat. I kind of think that's kind of come to pass for him. So I like Texas here a lot. I just haven't. I'm kind of waiting for the best number that I can get. I hope it keeps going down. For show money, give me Texas -7.
Yes, let me do that for you right now while I am line shopping for Ragoo for the best legal license book. I'll bring up Circa as well. Let's go over to DJ Big Boss. Big Boss, take it away. Texas, Colorado.
This one right here, I find lopsided in Colorado. They're only 4-1. In a normal year, they probably don't even end up in a bowl game like this versus a top opponent like Texas, ranked number 20 in this one. I like everything they in this game, in this matchup right here. I like everything that Texas is doing. I like the quarterback better. I like the coach better. I like the offense over at Texas, and also like the defense at Texas as well. And overall, I like Texas. So it's Texas for me all the way across the board. Colorado got a bunch of underclassmen. They in this 5-game season that they had, they came out one way, regrouped, and all that good stuff. And now they got a bunch of underclassmen that had to step up. So, the 9 kind of scares me with Texas, just period, because Texans ain't been a very good team covering. They 3-5-1 ATS. So the 9 kind of scares me, but I think this is just a good spot for Herm Edwards. The small progress he made this year. Ellinger, he deserves a bowl win or something like that. And I kind of like Texas in here, and I'm willing to lay the 9, but also like the under in this one too. The difference of the two conferences, but they still in the same region. So a lot of state games, Texas versus Colorado, and California, Texas. All those athletes play against each other, and they're gonna be meeting up in this bowl game right here. And I think Colorado does have potential on defense to slow them down a little bit, but I think Texas just wants it a lot more. It'll make it a nice season. Great case for Herm Edwards moving forward. So I'm going to take the under 63.5. I'm going to stay away from the side.
Well, it is down to 7. It's a 7.
It's down to 7?
If you want to make a decision. But let's see if Ragoo wants the 7 right now because it's juiced. The 7 is at -119 at both resorts and Bet America, -125 at Point Bets. If you want 7.5, that's -105 at FanDuel. Circa still at 8.
7.5. What's the over and under? 60.
I'm going to move over to that right now because that's where Boss was leaning. Boss is looking at a couple different spots here. The total is at 63.5 right across the board.
See, you know what? You know what I want? I want a first half total over in that game. And right. I'll take the minus 118 on
119. Okay, let's do that.
Yeah, I'll do that, and I'll take over. It should be like 31-ish. Like 30.
It's wildly interesting. Let's see what Circa. It's just wild here. Let me just see if Circa can. No, they're not. Oh yeah, first half. No, it's wild. So basically, we have 32.5 at minus 110 at FanDuel and Circa. If you want to drop a point, it's 31.5 at minus 120 at PointsBet. No. And then BetMGM's hanging this crazy 31 at minus 154 right now.
I'll take Texas first half also. I'll just do Texas first half and Texas full game.
That's how you want. Okay, you want to stick to that. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we have Texas first half. Let's quickly line shop, and then we'll move to John Ryan. We have Ragoo on Texas first half and full game. There's a minus 4.5 at plus 100 at FanDuel. First half. And by the way, I bet it at minus 5 today.
Hey, I want to shop some value.
Sure.
Of course.
I want to shop some value, man, because I like I said, I'm not head over heels for dropping the points with Texas in this one, but I do like the under, and I'm gonna take it under first half. I in my eyes, I see it like Colorado has a little something different to offer on defense. It's gonna slow Texas down, just for a couple series in the first half, and we stay under the first half total. What do I get for the first half?
I will get you that right now. Very interesting.
Because I feel the market is adjusting towards the Big 12. They do have a lot of high scoring games over there, and they do expect them to play high. But these guys can play, under games as well. And I think Colorado, all they really have is their defense. They kind of struggle on offense, so all they really have to bring to the game is a little bit of defense. And I think they hold them off in the first half, and then maybe Texas takes over in the second half. But give me the under first half.
First half under, you have, if you want to go under 31, you can get that at plus 120. Under 31.5 at minus 110. Under 32.5 at minus 110.
Give me under 32.5 at minus 110. Give me that.
Yeah. Okay, Boss is locked in first half under. Let's go to John Ryan. How do you see this game, and what's your move?
So you guys have already broken it down pretty well here. DJ just made some great points about the under. I like the under. And I definitely agree with you guys with the Texas play. The only, however, I have is why in the world are people betting on Colorado and sending this line down so fast and so hard? I can't get my hands around why someone would plop 5 or 10 grand down on Colorado when I'm staring at metrics right now that show clearly that Texas is the superior team. They're gaining 6.2 yards per play, Colorado 5.5. Strength of schedule rating. Last week we were talking about that. I think the highest one we had was South Carolina at 48, and the lowest was Buffalo at 17. There's a 8-point edge in favor of Texas's strength of schedule. So Texas is at 42, and I just lost my train of thought. Anyway, so Texas has played a tougher schedule. They are the better team on both sides of the ball. Remember in the beginning of the season, one of our first couple of shows, I was really high on that Texas defense, and then they got torched. They've kind of come back. The opponent points per play metric, they're actually ahead of Colorado in this matchup. So when I have both sides of the ball with the better team and a more balanced attack, I mean, after all, Colorado runs the ball 60% of the time. Texas is 50-50. And if I get that situation with advantages on both sides of the ball, I think under right away. And lastly, I'll give you a little nugget here of a system out of the repository. So 33, 9, and 1 push, that's 78% winners betting under on neutral field teams where the total is greater than or equal to 62 has an experienced quarterback returning as starters. So that's Ehlinger, Texas, and I mean, how can you have more experience than him?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm a very concerned when I see the great gas station sushi max betting Colorado. But I can explain why the market's moved. All these opt-outs, very important opt-outs. If Nate Landman had not have tore his Achilles against Utah, I would be making a different move in this game. I think he's an enormous loss. So, John Ryan, official play.
Under, and you had one line there. It was what, 31 plus 120?
Yes, I did. Let's pull
the
that
first half run. I'll take that, and I will take the total for the game. And also, I want to make a point because I've been studying this crapola with the opt out, which we have never seen, right? So I'm not trying to contradict what Jimmy just said because it's accurate. But at the same time, if you're betting because these guys are opting out, then you're missing the point of trying to understand and learn who's going to take their place. And if there's a freshman that they're going to play for one game and he's not going to lose eligibility this year, everybody comes back with the same number, and he's a 4-star recruit, I mean, who knows? A guy might be better than the starter. So that's where I get a little leery with all these opt-outs and then trying to figure out the plug-and-play pieces because it gets confusing as hell.
All right. Locking you in. You got the 63.5 at minus 105 at PointsBet.
Love it.
And you got the plus 120 under 31 at BetMGM. Very interesting. All right. In review, Ragoo's on first half minus 4.5 plus 100. Full game minus 7 on Texas. Big Boss on the first half under 32.5 minus 110. John Ryan's on the first half under 31 at plus 120. Full game under 63.5 at PointsBet. And I'm on the same bets as Ragoo. First half minus 4.5 plus 100. Full game minus 7 at BetAmerica. And very, very interesting. And we have the fear of knowing that Gas Station Sushi's max betting the other side. So there you go. Let's move on. Desar says, forgot about that injury. That injury to me was massive. Absolutely massive. Wednesday, December 30th. So we capped both games that pop off tomorrow. Let's go. The Mayo Bowl. Wake Forest Deacons, 4-4 versus Wisconsin Badgers. This total at these licensed books is in between 51.5 and 52.5. If you're looking for a spread, Wisconsin opened at minus 7 at Bet365 and now minus 7.5. By the way, the total opened at 55 at Bet365. Here we go. Bank of America Stadium, Charlotte, North Carolina, 41 Fahrenheit, cloudy, 3 miles per hour. Wake Forest went a month between games due to positive COVID tests within the program. They lost on November 14th, 59-53 at North Carolina before losing 45-21 at Louisville, December 12th to end their regular season. They scored 37 points per game, allowed 31.6, and they allowed 456.9 yards per game. Sophomore quarterback Sam Hartman completed 58.9% of his passes for 1,906 yards, 10 touchdowns, just 1 interception. He didn't take unnecessary risks. Number 1 receiver Jakari Robinson caught for 795 yards, 5 touchdowns. Number 2 receiver Donovan Green caught for 460 yards, 2 touchdowns. He has been dealing Donovan Green with an undisclosed injury. He's listed as probable for the Whiskey game. Running back Kenneth Walker ran for 579 yards, 13 touchdowns. He has opted out to prepare for the NFL draft. No worries. Wake has Christian Beal-Smith, who ran for 650 yards and 4 touchdowns and wants to be the number 1 guy. Wisconsin dealt with COVID issues throughout the season. They stopped their surprising 3-game losing streak with a 2017 overtime win at home over Minnesota to close out the season. Their defense was very strong all year, allowing just 15.7 points, 263.5 yards per game. It was their offense that was the problem, averaging just 10 points a game over their final 4 games. Freshman quarterback Graham Mertz, dealing with an upper body injury, listed as probable, didn't throw a TD pass over his last 3 games. On the season, he completed 60.8% of his passes for 8 TDs and 5 interceptions. And now we have COVID rearing its ugly head again. Jalen Berger is in quarantine right now. Their leading running back, he's listed as questionable. Seeing the market move towards Wisconsin makes me think that he'll be available. They have a long list of questionable players due to contact tracing protocols. Again, we're seeing money come in on Wisconsin, so these guys must be available. The leading receiver, 6'5" junior tight end Jake Ferguson, caught 29 passes for 284 yards, 4 TDs. He will be playing on Sundays when his career is over at the collegiate level. All right, boss, you were up first here. Boss, take it away. Wake Forest, Wisconsin.
Oh, let's go for it. So in this one right here, I like Wake Forest is doing on the offensive side of the ball, but they're mostly pass only. Wisconsin, this is a chance for them to get a little bounce back. They came off the win to Minnesota. They had a horrible season from what they thought they were going to do to what they're doing at this point. And but this number right here is really, really tricky. And 7 and 6.5. I haven't been well on those numbers at all. It's a 30% chance of rain in this one, which is no big deal for a team like Wisconsin. So I heavily like Wisconsin. Is the line down to 7, or what's the line looking like
It's
over
up
there?
now. It's 7.5.
7.5. Now, see, I kind of like 7.5 a little better. But in this one, I think due to the poor performance on offense by Wisconsin in this one, and the great defense by Wisconsin, and the fact that Wisconsin played much better opponents than Wake Forest, I think that Wisconsin takes a hold of this one right here. Let's go for the contest. I'm going to keep it even right here because I might hit it on both sides. I'm going to go Wisconsin minus the 7.5, and I'm going to go under 51.5.
All right, let's see if I can get you a 7. I can't.
And I don't even think them two go together. Do they go together, Big Ragoo?
What's that, buddy?
The Wisconsin as a side with the total as under.
That's the only way you like Wisconsin.
If you like Wisconsin, you got to go under?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like both of those right there. Put me down for both of those, Jimmy.
Wisconsin minus 106. You'll be glad to know that gas station is max betting Wisconsin at minus 7.5. Sorry, that's just minus 7.5. This total here, the best I can get you is up to 52.5 and minus 110 at BetMGM. 52.5 minus 110 at BetMGM. I'm going to lock in Big Boss with that, and we move over to John Ryan. Take it away.
Well, there's a big difference in strength of schedule here, too. Wisconsin is 43 on the SOS, and I have Wake Forest at 34.5. And Wake Forest we have a situation here, where I draw my Wall Street experience a little bit here. You have a Wisconsin team that's lost 4 in a row to the spread. The number of bets being made on Wisconsin each week are getting fewer and fewer. So people are, throwing the baby out with the bathwater, and probably for a good reason, because they did score 40 or 49 points in that one game, and then they played 3 games in a row where they scored, I think, 26 total. So there is a lot of question here. Normally I would not bet this game, but this is fun with this contest. So I will be on Wisconsin, because I think I'm getting a situation here where Wake Forest, who has done well down the stretch, even though they lost the last 2 games, they've covered, I think, 5 of the last 6. So we have a team that's getting more people interested in betting on them versus a team that I think is better, getting less people betting on them. And that's why I like Wisconsin. Wisconsin is 35-13 after failing to cover the spread in at least 4 of their last 6 games. So that clearly supports them. And in terms of a system, I don't know if I actually have one, but let me just scroll down here. I don't have one for the game. But nevertheless, Wisconsin, I think, is the play here.
We have Big Boss on Wisconsin minus 7.5. We have John Ryan, Wisconsin minus 7.5 and minus 106, both available at FanDuel. Big Ragoo, take it away.
All right, so we talk about the schedules, right? With Wisconsin playing the tougher, no doubt there. That tough stretch where they played. Let me see. Let me hit my notes here real quick. Sorry, guys. But anyways, we know early in the season they had the 2 wins against Michigan, I believe was Illinois, and then they had Murderers Row come up for them, where they barely produced any kind of offense whatsoever. So the offensive struggles that they have, it's not attributed to it's attributed to a couple of things. Number one, they don't have the talent that they've had in the running back position. The offensive line is probably still going to be pretty decent here, and that's where they're going to put put the screws to Wake because Wake bleeds against the run. They've given up like 45 to Louisville and 59 to Carolina. And with the scheduling, I think they've only played like 2 times since the end of October. You know, they had about a month off before they played Louisville, and then they had like about 2 weeks before they got to Carolina. Now they're off for another 2.5 weeks here. So they just haven't been able to. But they've done good with the number, though. See, that's the thing that's the real head scratcher here. I love betting Wake for a lot of different reasons, but I don't think this is a very good matchup for them. You know, just because the way that the other teams that they play to get to the number, they matched up well. Here is not a good matchup. That's the bottom line in this game. So Wisconsin is going to grind them out. It's not going to be a pretty day for Wake. I think we're going to see a lot of long drives, you know, for Wisconsin. They're going to chew a lot of clock up. They're going to grind it out, and they're probably going to get the double-digit win here. So, and I kind of like the under too. So initially, I was all over the side. I mean the under, but the more I capped into the game, it's going to be a Wisconsin play for me. I'm not afraid to lay the 7.5. I think they win by double digits here.
Very, very interesting.
They're not going to have an offensive explosion putting the ball down the field because I really don't trust Mertz's arm. You know, I just think he's not as good as Cone. Cone is gone. He went into, you know, when he left. He's in the transfer portal system.
Yeah,
he's not coming back. So Mertz is going to be their guy, and they're going to have to develop him. You know, when spring ball comes around, obviously he'll get some opportunities, but. You know, to kind of, you know, maybe bring some more talent in to help him out. But, you know, throw him out like they did. He did what he had to do early. You know, he got more done with his arm actually because the running back position wasn't as strong. So they were this is a team not looking for an identity, but just kind of looking to develop. And I think this game sets up right for Wisconsin to have a Wisconsin type of game.
Interesting. I have a real bias from watching Wisconsin play this year, and I'm not going to roll with you guys. So this won't be a group hug, but you will take me off of the Demon Deacons, also with Gas Station on the other side, which is fine. Which is why it's so helpful doing these shows. You guys are all on the -7.5 Wisconsin. Big Boss is on the under 52.5 -110. I'm going to be on the under 52.5 at -110 as well. That's available at BetMGM. I just can't trust whiskey after watching them this year. All right, we move on to 8 p.m. the Cotton Bowl. Man, I think this is just such a fascinating game to cap, and I'm so excited about capping it with you guys. Here we go. Number 7 ranked Florida Gators versus number 6 Oklahoma Sooners. AT&T Stadium, Arlington, Texas. I've already bet the Oklahoma Sooners. I was too late. We got the shocking news today about all the top 4 receivers for Florida not playing in this game due to opt-outs and more, and we'll get into it. And I pulled the trigger on first half full game, and I plan to do that on this show as well. We have a 3s across the board right now, and the total at 70 or 70.5. We're back up to the top to John Ryan to open this up. Let's just talk quickly about this game here. AT&T Stadium, Arlington, Texas, to set it up. After a shocking 37-34 loss at home to LSU as 23.5-point favorites, one that our John Ryan very shrewdly took the money line on LSU, a +900 on. We have these Florida Gators were knocked out of the college football playoffs. They bounced back with a very impressive 52-46 loss at home to number 1 Alabama. Heisman Trophy candidate Kyle Trask completed 69.7% of his passes, 4,125 yards, 43 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. His offense that gained an average of 508.8 yards, scored 41.6 points per game, is losing very dangerous weapons. Let's start with the most dangerous, 6'6" tight end Kyle Pitts. Caught 43 passes for 770 yards, 12 touchdowns. He's opted out to prepare for the draft. So is wide receiver Trevon Grimes. He caught 43 passes, 589 yards, 9 touchdowns. When I was capping this game initially, I expected their senior wide receiver, Kadarius Toney, to play in this game. He's not going to play in this game. He's opted out as well. He caught 2 touchdown passes his first 3 seasons. He caught 10 touchdown passes this year, 984 yards. Marco Wilson has not made the announcement official. Everyone's waiting for the announcement. Their cornerback is also they expect him to opt out for the bowl game. Then we have defensive back Sean Davis 45 tackles, 2 sacks, 1 interception, out with a knee injury. That's a lot of losses. Now we get to Oklahoma. Finished the season in very impressive fashion. 1-7 straight, culminating in winning the Big 12 championship. Outscored their opponents by an average of 19.9 points per game. Their defense grew stronger and stronger as the season went on. They allowed 333.6 yards and just 21.9 points per game. Freshman quarterback Spencer Rattler looked better and better as the season went on. He completed 68% of his passes for 2,784 yards, 25 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Running back TJ Pledger left the team and has entered the transfer portal. He entered the 2020 season as the Week 1 starter because Kennedy Brooks opted out and Ramondre Stevenson was suspended. Pledger rushed for 451 yards, 5 touchdowns on 95 carries, but he was immediately supplanted by Stevenson upon his return. Pledger has not logged double-digit carries in the game since October 24th. He's angry. He's in the transfer portal. Stevenson ran for 479 yards, 6 touchdowns in 5 games. Marvin Mims caught 30 passes, 583 yards, 8 touchdowns. And sadly, extremely dangerous 6'6" sophomore tight end Austin Stogner remains out indefinitely with a leg injury. For me, this is all Oklahoma all the time. What I'm very interested in is maybe making a move on the total, going under the number, or maybe making a move on the Florida team total under. That's what I want to wait to hear your breakdowns. John Ryan, take it away, Cotton Bowl.
Yeah, this is a great game, and I wish there weren't so many opt-outs because it would be an even more fun game to cap with all of you guys. I was on Florida against Alabama. I went against them with LSU. I feel like I have a pretty good feel on the pulse of that team until all this news. But even with that said, I trust that the Florida team is deeper with those 3 and 4 star recruits that are redshirt freshmen that'll get a chance to play since they're missing their 4 wide receivers. And think about it. Oklahoma is favored by how many?
They're favored by 3.
Right. And that's with – I mean, imagine in the NFL if an NFL team – well, it actually happened. The Eagles didn't have any wide receivers. But, I mean, you don't understand my point. You're losing 4 skilled players that are elite athletes, and the line's only that much. The public is all over Oklahoma. And, the one thing I wanted to mention tonight, too, is I'm beginning to think that it's run its course in terms of the pros and the Joes, that the smart money is on, this game. And I think it's more important now, like if you take Wall Street sentiment, there is no Joe and pro. It's just sentiment. It's public sentiment. It's the professional trader sentiment. It's all wrapped into one. So what I've been doing with some, back testing with my Python stuff is finding out if that actually works. And I'm getting some positive results from that. If the percentages are insane and the public is acting in irrational exuberance, betting a certain team, then you ought to consider being on the other side. And I'm not suggesting that this is, out of hand on Oklahoma because it's not. But my bet's going to be on Florida. And I just think there's going to be guys stepping up that are going to be hungry to play, and they're going to get the job done.
Do you want the 3 points, or do you want the money line?
I'm going to take the money line, Jimmy, on this one. I mean, it's not a big money line, but
very, very exciting.
Taking the reason I would take the money line, just to explain my reasoning behind that, is that I think it's going to be a very high scoring game. So I would lead towards the over 70 or 71, whatever it is, as well. But that's not going to be my bet. I'll just stick with Florida and the money line.
Very, very interesting. And you get a nice one at FanDuel, plus 132.
That is a good number.
Very, very, very interesting. Let's move on to the Big Ragoo. What an interesting take from John Ryan. It makes me feel like a Joe Schmo jumping all over Oklahoma when I had the chance to.
Didn't mean that at all, Jimmy.
Oh, no, I know. No, don't worry. This is extremely enjoyable, and I love your take. I just find it very I find it riveting. And now it could
be 42-17 Oklahoma, and but that's how I feel about the game now.
Yeah, that's all right.
Let's take it away, Ragoo.
That's what makes the world go around, man. Having fun and talking about these games and hammering out. If you look at my notes, here's my note. Okay, check this out right here. It says I'm looking for Kadarius Toney to be all over the field to put things together for U.S. Also, Trevor Grimes to fill in. We'll draw a line through that, but that didn't say that I had Florida start out with. That was just some of my notes, but that kind of gives me more, not pause, but more reason to be on Oklahoma because, like you were saying, I know there's a next up. I know Florida recruits lights out. They always have a solid recruiting class, especially in those skill positions because there's a lot of talent in Florida, and the next up is trying to get in. But I want to see them on the field before I kind of make my decision to kind of put my stock into that, especially against a team like Oklahoma that's kind of getting right on defense. They kind of quietly, went on that 6-game winning streak and took a pretty damn good Iowa State team out in the conference championship. And Spencer Rattler's had his moments, just up and down type of season. But I think, Mims is doing a nice job picking up some pieces, for yardage down the field. And we know Trask's story. He's 43 touchdowns, 4,000 yards. But he's going to be definitely light, on who to throw the ball to. And Florida's defense, they can get gashed up pretty good. So I think you got two teams going different directions. Even though that when Pitts came back for the championship game, now he opted out, obviously. So I think there's just too much of a roller coaster ride for Florida towards the end of the season to kind of be really motivation. I think the motivation factor is going to be highly on the Oklahoma Sooner sidelines. We don't have that dual threat quarterback like we've had years gone by with Murray and Hurts and those type of quarterbacks. So Spencer, I'm not going to call him a game manager, but I'm just going to kind of call him a more rounded quarterback as far as distribution goes. You're not going to put the game on his shoulders. You're going to put it in Stevenson's hand. He's going to make plays when he has to, and the Oklahoma defense is going to step up and slow the Gators down. I would be interested in the team total looking at the Gators, but I've already got a bet on Oklahoma at plus 125 because I was already leaning towards Oklahoma anyway. So now I feel a little more comfortable with that play, and I've already got a play at Oklahoma -3. So, and on the contest, I'm going to take Oklahoma first half and full game.
And I will as well. I can get you -2.5 and -110 at BetMGM, so they're still hanging at 2.5. FanDuel's moved to 3.5. Makes a ton of sense. Let's let our DJ Big Boss put a bow on this while I line shop for you on the first half. Take it away, boss.
This battle right here with Trash and Rattler, I like this battle right here. I kind of like Rattler way much. I'm leaning big time Oklahoma, but I'm scared to jump on the side. I totally agree with John Ryan saying, and I've said it before on the show that when these players go out, there's no reason to jump up out of your seat. But I really like the over in this one. But I'm waiting for the line to come down. If all these players are out and all this stuff, and we was at 71, we should be at 68 at least by now. Did the line drop? I don't see that it moved.
No, you're right. If it's done anything, it's gone up.
And if you missing some wide receiver, that's not a big deal. And I'm not gonna discredit the wide receivers, but they breed those guys a dime a dozen. There's a guy waiting to catch the ball. The key factor will be if the quarterback was gone. But with the quarterback matching is solid right here. It's gonna be and these are two young coaches right here. You got Lincoln Riley in his 4th year and Dan Mullen in his 3rd year. I'm big time 3rd and 4th year coaches, and we seen with Coastal Carolina and quite a few other ones that they compete well, especially in these big games. So I'm expecting the party to keep going all night. I don't know who's going to press stop on or if the needle ever going to jump off the record, but I like the over in this one a lot. I would love to get more value on it today before I make it. I'll take it in the contest, no doubt, but before I make it to the window with a nice little lump sum of somebody's money, then I want that number to come down a little bit.
Wow. Very, very interesting takes from you guys. Over 69.5 still hanging at BetMGM, which is the best line. Over 69.5 at -115. Very, very interesting. BetMGM. Over 69.5. Wow. Very interesting. So I'm going to stay with my plan. I'm not going to add to it. I'm going to make the same move that Ragoo made. First half on Oklahoma -1.5 at -115. And full game -2.5. And that's at PointsBet. Full game -2.5, -110 at BetMGM. And I look forward to watching this game. We've seen what Kyle Trask can do with extremely dangerous weapons, and let's see what he can do with just younger ones. Maybe he's still dangerous, but he lost a few major ones. Okay, there we have it. So in review, John Ryan on Florida, money line plus 132. Ragoo and I on first half minus 1.5, full game minus 2.5 on Oklahoma, and Big Boss on the over 69.5 minus 115 at BetMGM. He's waiting for the news to hit the public and the under and the total to come down. And we will see if it does. Okay, now we move to New Year's Eve action, 12 p.m. Eastern, and it's perfect that we start with a big Ragoo. Wait, is this the – I've got the – yeah, no, shit, it's Armed Forces Bowl, but this isn't what Army's in. Okay, sorry. Armed Forces Bowl, number 24th ranked Golden Hurricanes out of Tulsa, 6-2 on the year versus Mississippi State Bulldogs, 3-7. Amon G. Carter Stadium, Fort Worth, Texas. And we have some weather issues on New Year's Eve. Now, it is a few days before New Year's Eve, so it can change. We have a couple games with rain and wind, and this is one of them. 38 Fahrenheit rain, 15 miles an hour. We have a team in Tulsa that plays spectacular defense, which would lead you to want the under. And the total's already moved from 49 to 47, and there are some 46.5s on the board. But Tulsa will not have their main defensive weapon, Zaven Collins, who's opted out of the game to declare for the draft. 54 tackles, 4 sacks, 4 interceptions. 2 of them he returned for touchdowns. He was absolutely spectacular. 6'4", 260 pounds. We'll see him on Sundays, and he will not be in the game. Tulsa had their 6-game winning streak snapped in their 27-24 AAC championship loss to Cincinnati. Their defense, strong all year, allowed 340.8 yards and 20.8 points. Their offense struggled at times, but seemed to come up big when it mattered most. They gained 401 yards and 27.3 points per game. In that big game against Cincinnati, John Ryan was on Tulsa money line, and he almost had an enormous score there. I like this team, but Zach Smith did not take the step up that we were expecting this year. He completed just 55.8% of his passes, 1,600 yards, 12 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. They had 3 running backs with over 80 carries, but they'll be without one of them, TK Wilkerson, for undisclosed reasons. And he was probably the weakest statistically of the bunch. Wide receiver Keelan Stokes and Josh Johnson each caught 37 passes for 495-plus yards, about 500 yards each. Mississippi State stopped their 3-game losing streak with a 51-32 win at home to Missouri to finish off their season. We were on them in that game. Their defense kept them in games while their offense struggled. Their offense managed 347.1 yards per game and 20.7 points per game. And it was their running game that was terrible by standard. I mean, just they averaged 36 yards rushing per game. I had to go over it just to make sure there wasn't some sort of mistake.
Great.
Unbelievable. Freshman Will Rogers took over KJ Costello, showed real promise, finished the season by completing 69.6% of his passes, 828 yards, 10 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He made that rookie move of taking risks that he didn't need to take. That's the high interceptions. But look at that high completion rate. Their defense led by senior linebacker Errol Thompson, who had 87 tackles, 2 sacks, and 1 interception. Armed Forces Bowl, Big Ragoo, take it away.
Hey, when you run for 37 yards a game, when you're rushing, play percentages is like barely 20%, and you throw the ball 80% of the time. So pretty much the other team knows what the hell you're going to do, right? So that kind of – and when you only run 2 yards a carry, pass plays only like barely 6 yards, not even 5.5 yards. So they definitely have some offensive issues, and that's real surprising because we know – that Leach loves to, throw the ball around, and it's just a matter of getting the system in place. That's not going to be long for these guys before they kind of get stuff going, but it's going to be not this year for sure. So we've already got them figured out what they're going to do, how they're going to try to attack this game. And then you throw in the weather factor, with the rain and the wind. So it's not going to be a good look. But funny thing about it, there's a lot of action coming in on Mississippi State. So what do you think the reason is for that? Let me get some help from you on that. What do you think's going on with that number?
No Zaven Collins. Nobody wants to back Tulsa.
Nobody wants to back Tulsa, huh? So it's really a shit game to try to sit here and figure out.
Was there a more valuable defensive player on any team this season than Zaven Collins on Tulsa?
No, I don't think so.
Agreed.
So, I mean, Is that going to give them an opportunity to run the ball against Tulsa, even though he's not there? Just for that matter, we're talking like Tulsa, talking about 8-point margin of difference versus 7 the other way. I don't know. And then the total is it's opened up at 50 and it's down to 47 now?
Yeah, 47. It looks like it might go down to 46.5.
Yeah.
And we're sitting here with Tulsa as 2.5-point favorites.
First, I was looking at a possible team total over for Mississippi State. It was 10.5. I was going to say for the first. That was the first half total I was looking at initially. But let me see what's going on with that. What do you got for first half team totals on these squads?
I will see if they are up and add them. Let me see. Here we go. Tulsa. Sorry, here we go. First half. No, I don't. I can't get a team total there.
No.
Let me see if I can get one over here at Bet365 for this.
Tulsa's got some nice. I mean, John could probably vouch for this. Tulsa's like 6-1 ATS the last 7 bowl games. Under the last 5 games is the Hurricanes being a favorite. And then the under's cash is 7-9 for the Bulldogs. So you can see why everybody's on the under. I mean, definitely if I don't know, just the weather's got me. I would have loved to take a shot with Mississippi State here if I knew the weather was going to be a little more cooperative. Maybe a first half total with Mississippi State over the total, but I don't really have a strong play here either way.
It's a tricky spot. We could come back to you if you'd like.
Yeah, no, that's fine. No, I'll give you something.
Okay.
We're gonna look at. I'm gonna take the dog in that spot, even though as bad as they are. I got to be contrarian something. And let's do this. Let's take Mississippi State. What's the money line on this game for Mississippi State?
I will get that for you right now. We're going to get a money line look here. We're shopping at odds.com, their odds page. The money line for Mississippi State, I can get you not very good. A plus 116 at FanDuel. Let me see if I can beat that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see value in the number either way. I mean, if I can't see the big value on Mississippi State with that short number. I would figure that 3-7 versus Tulsa's winning squad, that they would be a lot better. So to me, that tells me the number that plays Mississippi State. So I'm just going to take Mississippi State plus the points.
Mississippi State. So you can get a plus 117 money line. So instead, we're going to go with the 2.5 points. Let's see what I can get you there. Mississippi State plus 2.5. I can get you minus 103 at DraftKings.
We'll do that.
All right, locked in. Mississippi State plus 2.5 minus 103 at DraftKings. And let's move over to DJ Big Boss. Mississippi State, Tulsa, Armed Forces, both take it away.
Is that what you're doing nowadays, Big Ragoo? Jumping on that side?
Flipping a coin in this one.
Okay, let's go for it, man. And this one right here, I got an even matchup for the most part. Interesting factor about this game is Tulsa has 62 Texas players. I don't know how true that is, but I seen that stat jump out. 62 of them are from Texas, and they're going over here to Fort Worth, Texas in the Armed Forces Bowl. And this one, I like Tulsa a lot. Even without that stat or whatever. Mississippi State with the freshman quarterback, I'm going to stand on the side of Tulsa in this one minus the points. And I also, what I find big value in, since Big Ragoo want to throw the V word around like that, I find big value is when they go low, we go high. So I like the over in this one a lot. You got Mike Leach over there. He knows how to get the ball in the end zone. And this Tulsa team, they know how to get the ball in the end zone. Despite both of them having really good defenses, they're a little mismatch. And the best part about Tulsa is the offense and is even pass and even run. So if Mississippi State decides to stop the run, they can open up with the pass and vice versa. Whereas Mississippi State, they can't really do the same thing right there. So I'm gonna go all Tulsa right here.
All right, you want Tulsa and the over? I can get.
DJ.
Say it again.
I said it makes sense, but the number looks. Why would that number be so short if there was that much disparity in the way the teams are going to play each other? And that 2.5, it looks awful cheap. Something's wrong. Something's wrong.
Over 46.5 at minus 112 will be your total. That's available at FanDuel. And let's hear John Ryan's take. John, take it away.
Well, this is an interesting matchup because it's one of the few times you have a team that their average rushing yards is less than the opponent's rushes. So it's a very unusual situation, and it does lean towards the under in a couple of the systems I have. But, I mean, think about it. The team's averaging less rushing yards per game as opposed to the opponent's just rushing attempts. That can never be a real good thing. I'll get to the point. I'm on the over with the Big Ragoo. DJ, I mean, right?
Yeah, DJ.
A simple betting system here, and you guys want to write this one down because it's easy to follow. You pick a bowl game played in the month of December with a total between 42 and 49.5 points. And that has gone 36-11-1 to the over for 77% winners over the last 5 seasons. And believe me, these simple betting systems like this one, you'd be amazed at how many times you're going contrarian. It's got to be on this one, at least 70% of the plays are going against what the line movement was.
Very interesting. Over 46.5 at minus 112.
One last thing. Leach has played a total of 10 games in his coaching career with a total below 50, and 8 of those 10 went over. But think of it, 10 games in his career. The guy's coached a gazillion games. And he's only played 10 with a total below 50. That's remarkable.
Well, I am going to do a couple things here, and I know this goes against some of you guys, a lot of you guys on Tulsa, but I'm with Ragoo here. Zaven just meant so much to this team. And I'm not only going to take Mississippi State plus 2.5 at minus 103, but I'm also going to take the Mississippi State team total over 22.5. I think that's low enough, and it kind of is correlated with your guys' over anyways. It's available at Bet365. Mississippi State over 22.5. I have to pay the cost to be the boss at minus 120. I will do that. So in review, Ragoo on Mississippi State plus 2.5 minus 103. Boss is on Tulsa minus 2.5 and the over 46.5. John Ryan's on the over 46.5. I'm on Mississippi State plus 2.5 and the over 22.5.
My initial cap was the first half total over for Mississippi State, which my book had 10.5.
Yeah, I wish we had that available at any of these licensed books. We don't.
I can't total, Jimmy, for the full game.
Sorry, say that again.
What's the team total for the full game?
That's what I took, 22.5.
22.5. Okay, I'll let you ride it. I'll cheer you on.
You can jump on it if you want.
All right, you know what? I'm piggyback you. Give me that too.
All right, so Boss and I on the same stuff here. The team total for Mississippi State over 22.5. Minus 120. That's at Bet 360.
My book has got 23.5 minus 120, so that's good. I'll take it.
Sweet. All righty. Let's go. Let's roll. We move on to the Arizona Bowl, 2 p.m. Eastern, New Year's Eve. Ball State Cardinals. Oh, I've been so excited about capping this one with everybody. Ball State Cardinals 6-1. It's perfect up against the number 22 San Jose State Spartans, and we get to hear DJ Big Boss open this one up. Arizona Stadium, Tucson, Arizona, 56 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 3 miles per hour. Big Boss and I were both on San Jose State Spartans on against Boise, and we didn't have the balls to take the money line. but we cashed beautifully on that plus 6.5. Let's start with Ball State. After losing their opening game of the season 38-31 at Miami of Ohio, Ball State Cardinals rattled off 6 straight wins, culminating in defeating the Buffalo Bulls in the MAC championship as 13.5-point favorites. Let's pull up this market right now. Ball State opened up as 6.5-point dogs. That's 9, 9.5, or 10. This total opened up at 64. There's now 63s on the board. There are even 62.5s. Man, fun. Their offense was strong all year. Ball State's offense put up 34.3 points and gained 453.7 yards a game. Star running back Caleb Huntley opted out of the MAC championship to prepare for the draft. Sophomore Ty Evans comes in. He runs for 94 yards on 18 carries. They beat Buffalo. Senior quarterback Drew Plitt was strong all year, completing 65.8% of his passes for 1,937 yards, 16 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Justin Hall caught 49 passes for 665 yards, 4 touchdowns. Hines Tyler caught 38 passes for 504 yards and 7 touchdowns. Their defense is led by a very strong linebacker core. Junior Brandon Martin led the team with 85 tackles. Senior Jalen Thompson had 74. And when I say very strong, I should mean for the MAC. I should say for the MAC. They have a very strong linebacking core. San Jose Spartans swept the board so far this year. It all led to their very impressive win over Boise State in the Mountain West Championship. They'd lost all 14 previous meetings with the Broncos. This will be just their 11th bowl appearance since 1946. This is their first time as an undefeated team. Nick Starkel completed 32 of 52 passes for 453 yards and 3 touchdowns. He found 10 different receivers in that game. He broke former Fresno State star Derek Carr's title game record of 404 yards passing set in 2013. In 7 games, he threw for 1,906 yards, 16 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Boise State got inside San Jose State's red zone just one time, was held to 233 yards of offense, 36.7% less than the 368 average during the regular season. This team is rolling. Cade Hall had 2 sacks and 3 tackles for a loss. He has 10 sacks in 7 games. First time a Spartan registered 10 sacks in the season since 2012. They averaged 30.9 points per game. They allowed just 17.9 points against, but it just feels like this line has gotten just everybody loves the Spartans these days, and 10-point favorites, really? I don't know. DJ Big Boss, take it away.
Here we go. Another. I guess this happens a lot in the bowl games. Me and the line setter, we disagree. They go high, I go low. Much as I like San Jose State, they also to me mimicked Coastal Carolina a lot in their Cinderella season. Same strong points. There's a lot of similarities between the two, and we seen in that last strike against that team. It was just a little bit too much, and I think we got the same situation here. I don't think that maybe Ball State beats them, but I definitely don't think that San Jose covers by the spread. Besides, the two coaches have some history, but they never crossed each other, so they got a lot of respect for each other overall. So that means that they won't run the score up on each other. So I like the under as well, although it's kind of against my principle of taking those MAC overs and stuff. But right here, I think the under is a good play, and I also like Ball State plus the points. Give me both of those, Jimmy.
I agree completely. And I even think if we hold off to bet this, more money might come in on San Jose State. At BetMGM, they're hanging at 64.5. So you can get under 64.5 here. And I will line shop for you full game. But let's let John Ryan take over. John, very interesting game. Ball State, San Jose State. Take it away.
It is, and it's a tough one to call, of course, but San Jose State has had a very special year. They're coming off a very good championship game. They also are gaining 6.8 yards per play versus 5.5 for Ball State. And keep in mind, San Jose State had the tougher SOS by 4 points, 31-27. Ball State had the highest SOS in the MAC conference. Most of them were down, in 2021. So if you happen to play Ball State and Buffalo in this year, then you had a pretty high SOS. But completion percentage goes to Ball State just by a hair, a fraction, 65 to 64%. On defense is where it really stands out. And San Jose State's defense allowing 4.7 yards per play, Ball State 6. And one of my favorite metrics, points per play, this on defense is opponent points per play. San Jose State, 0.246, which is actually a tad lower than Wisconsin's defense this year. Not saying that they could go into Wisconsin and give them a game, but you never know with this team. And I like San Jose State here. I agree with what DJ said about the possibility of winning the game, but not covering. So what I do like is the team total for San Jose State. And I think they easily, whatever the number is, they go over by at least a touchdown.
Oof, it's higher than I thought, but it's heavily juiced. Well, not heavily. It's juiced to the over. 37.5.
37.5. All right, let me just do one little mental calculation here.
Okay. Jay Robbins liking San Jose State. I get it, but you had to get in early if you wanted it. And when I move probably on Ball State in this contest, I don't know if I'll get to that. I don't know if I'll bet it. John, what's your decision?
What was the total again?
37.5.
Yeah, that's fair. And the juice isn't much.
It's bad because it's bet 365, and it opened at minus 120. It's being bet, so it's probably on the move. It's now minus 125. 55.9% implied probability.
My rule is never bet juice over minus 120, but I guess sometimes you have to do it at least once. You know what? Give me. I'll take San Jose State minus the points.
Alrighty, San Jose State minus the points. Big Ragoo, take it away.
I'm not going to be real long on this one, but to me, this is a correlation game. If you like San Jose, under. If you like the other side, over. I like the other side. I like the game not to really go over by much, but I'm kind of worried about that San Jose D, whether Ball State. I'm not going to say lay an egg, but there's an interesting look that I came up with on this. So the San Jose defense, we know they're giving up barely 18 points a game, but there's like one little intricacy in the stats where their pass completion rating is like 63% against. They're averaging 6 yards per pass against, but their passer rating is like 36. And there's three other teams that kind of had a higher rating that lost in the bowls, which was Coastal. Did Buffalo win their game? They lost their game, didn't they? Or they played? Who did Marshall play in the bowl? We lost.
That. Marshall beat them.
Marshall beat them, right? So Marshall and Buffalo.
Buffalo beat Marshall 17-10.
Right, I had it back. Yep, you're right. Sorry.
Anyways, those teams have a higher passing rating, Coastal and Marshall, and they lost. So I think they're going to be susceptible against the pass, and that's what Ball State does really, really well, putting the ball down the field. I kind of like Ball State in this spot. I think it's too many points. I had the same take that Jimmy had. I'm going to wait till game time to put my action down, but I'm going to take the plus 10 right now if I can get it, and I'm going to sprinkle on the money line. So give me Ball State and the money line here.
Ooh, okay. Well, we'll add that here in a second. John has a decision to make. You can get minus 9 at minus 125, 9.5 at minus 112, minus 10 at minus 105, John.
Minus 10, 105.
San Jose State minus 10 at minus 105. And Ragoo, fresh off his Hawaii at plus 390, is coming in here. So Ragoo's going to get plus 10 at minus 115, which is the same as I'm going to get. And I'm not going to get to the window, at least in the next 24 hours on this.
I know the MAC notoriously sucks in the bowl games, but you know what? We did get a W with Buffalo, right?
We sure did.
Maybe and this is the only other bowl game we have a MAC team in, correct?
Yep.
So maybe they sweep the board this year because they're like a 30% bowl team league conference. They don't usually fare well in the bowls. Now they're good against the Big Ten, right, John? But not so much in the bowl. But this is 2020. Let's get it done. Let's go 2-0. Let's sweep the board. Go MAC.
Plus 290 at BetMGM is what you're getting, and that is the same. Oh, sorry, plus 10 at minus 115. Yes, at BetMGM as well. All right.
BetMGM has been good to me in the tournament.
It has been.
Yeah,
roll on.
right. Put MGM.
2 games left on the card for us on tonight's show. Thank you guys so much for joining us here on odds.com. We're going to be back on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern to finish off all of the bowl games. We have 2 games left. We start with the Liberty Bowl, 4 p.m. Eastern. West Virginia Mountaineers, 5-4 versus the Army Black Knights. I've already moved on the under 42 on this game. Liberty Bowl, Memorial Stadium, Memphis, Tennessee. And we have weather, 45 Fahrenheit showers, 11 miles per hour. Let's see what we are dealing with here in the Liberty Bowl. The total has gone down to 41, where I bet it at 42. I like seeing that. Although, it's not for the contest. That's just for money in my pocket. The West Virginia opening up at -7.5. They're now at -7. Now -7. West Virginia had a good season, but they're coming off a very ugly 42-6 loss at Iowa State. Letty Brown ran for 945 yards and 9 touchdowns on the season. Against Iowa State, he had just 48 yards on 14 carries. When they can't get their run game going, they lose. They averaged 211 yards on the ground in their wins, just 64 in their losses. Their offense scored 26.8 points and picked up 422.7 yards per game. Their quarterback, Jared Dagey, completed 64.2% of his passes for 2,428 yards, 13 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Their defense had been strong all season, allowing 20.4 points and 297.2 yards a game, but they got eaten up by Iowa State. Army followed up their disappointing 38-12 loss at Tulane by winning 3 straight, 28-27 over Georgia Southern, 15-0 over Navy, and 10-7 over Air Force. Their triple option offense gains 324.9 yards and 27.3 points per game. Of the 324.9 yards, 281.3 of them come on the ground. Their quarterback, Tyer Tyler has gone from the scout team to the number 1 quarterback in 2 months. He is listed as questionable with a concussion. In 5 games this year, he rushed 115 times for 502 yards. He threw just 4 passes, completing 2 of them for 53 yards. Army's defense was strong all year, allowing just 271.1 yards and 14 points per game. They're strong on the ground, which leads you to think, well, if West Virginia can't move the ball on the ground, are they going to lose? But Army's such a different take here because they don't score a lot of points. Very, very interesting spot here. We start back up with John Ryan, Liberty Bowl, West Virginia Army. Take it away.
Well, I think this is a bit of a mismatch. We have West Virginia with a much higher SOS, 37. Army is down at 20, which is among the group with the MAC conference, no disrespect. And West Virginia does have the running game that can take advantage of Army's defensive line. So I really, quickly here, I really like the over. I like West Virginia team total over. I don't think Army is going to. I don't think Army's going to be able to stop them. There's a system here with West Virginia. I'll give to you guys, which is it's hit 68% over the last 10 seasons. You play on any team. It's an average offensive team gaining 5 to 5.5 yards per play, facing an average defense. And keep in mind, Army's SOS is way weak. So this number is even worse than what it is. So an average defense that allows 5 to 5.5 yards per play in the second half of the season, and with West Virginia coming off a game where they were outgained by 200 or more total yards in that game. So, a little complex there, but it works. It's been very consistent over that 10 years with just one losing season among it. So if you just blindly took this system, you're probably going to do pretty well the next 5, 6, 7 years too.
West Virginia over 41 is at Bet365. Over 41, but that's -115. If you want 41.5, you can get -110. What do you prefer?
Oof, that's not much benefit. It's 40.5 at -115, you said?
It's 41 at -115, 41.5 at -110.
Let's take the 41. And then am I allowed to do the team total in West Virginia?
Of course, you're allowed to do all of those, yeah. So interesting that you're taking the team total on West Virginia, but not covering by the 7. Why?
It's a game that these teams, I don't think they've ever faced each other. They're totally different styles. In this game, if Army throws for more than 10 passes, it goes big time against them. I'm indifferent West Virginia minus the points or the team total. I feel safer with the team total for whatever it's worth because one of the machine learning tools actually has West Virginia, and don't hold this to me if they only score 20 points, but they could score over the posted total on their own merit.
Wow.
So that's a bold statement, but I've seen it come through, and maybe this is a game that it will.
FanDuel hasn't moved it to 6.5, by the way, but it comes with minus 118 juice. Unfortunately, here, John, we're dealing with that same issue that we just had, as Bet365 is the only team offering only book offering the team total of the licensed books, and it's 26.5, but it's minus 125 in juice.
All right, then I'll bite West Virginia just minus the points for the game.
Well, then you have an option. Do you want the minus 6.5, minus 118, or would you prefer? That's the only 6.5. So minus 6.5 at minus 118, or minus 7 at minus 110.
Let's do 6.5. I hate the VIG, but that might be the difference between winning and losing. Who knows? And then I'm over 41.
And over 41 at minus 115. West Virginia minus 6.5 at minus 118. All right, let's head down to the Big Ragoo. Always interested when he talks about Army. They're in deep here against West Virginia. Take it away, Ragoo.
Army's going to be deep. They're going to be deep for the rest of their life, these kids, so get used to it. Listen, these guys, 9-2, sitting on the sidelines, say, we belong in a bowl game, right? Now they got their opportunity. You want to talk about a motivating factor for a bunch of kids who want to go play football against a tough squad, like you say, West Virginia? West Virginia, they leak in bowl games, 0-6. But now they got Neil Brown, who's a pretty good coach. He's done well. He's like 3-0 in bowl games when he came over from Troy. So he knows how to win these type of games. I don't think he's familiar with the triple option defending against it. And we know that Army went 9-2. They lost to Tulane, and they lost to a tough Cincinnati squad, which Cincinnati was lights out on defense. No disrespect to West Virginia and their defense, but I just think they're going to have a tough time trying to figure out this Army triple option early. Okay, so that's why I like Army in the first half. Plus, if I can get 3.5, I'll take it. At a decent number. That's why I think Army's going to give them all they want early. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring affair, but here's the thing: all the Army games that they played away, they went I think the first half versus Tulane, it was like 12-14. They were losing at the half by 2. Georgia Southern, they were down by 2 scores, and USTA, Tennessee, San Antonio, they were leading 14-10. So each game at the half away from home, there was anywhere from 24, 28, 26 points. So I'll look first half over and Army plus 3.5 if I can get it.
I can give you better. I give you plus 4 at minus 111.
Yeah.
At BetMGM. And first half total here. Let's see what I can offer you here. Shopping on odds.com odds page. The first half total, I can get you 20.5 at minus 110 at FanDuel.
Book it, Daniel.
First half over 20.5 minus 110. That's FanDuel. Big Boss, take it away.
Me and these military teams, we don't mix, man. So I'm not very interested in this game right here. But Virginia has good defense. They do decent against the run as well. So, the triple option is a monster. They get a couple weeks to prepare for it. So, when was the last time West Virginia played? Anybody know?
Yeah.
They last played on December the 5th at Iowa State.
Okay, yeah.
42.
Yeah. Rule of thumb, I know I learned from one of our good known cappers is 2 weeks to study for the option. That's when you want to take. You always you fade option teams after the other teams coming off a bye week. So this gives them plenty of time to prepare for the option. They do well against the run anyhow. So I just see a big time defensive game right here, and I'm gonna go with the under in this one.
The full game under. Let's get that for you. That's what I already bet. That was my plan and thought process. I did get a little nervous hearing these guys, but we can offer you a 40. Can Circa beat this? Let's see if Circa can beat this. They can. We can get under 42 at minus 110 at Circa.
I cashed my first military under the last matchup in the military. So this is not really a military under, but truthfully, West Virginia plays military ball other than the big time option. So I like the under.
And I got one question.
Yeah, what up?
Is there a first half total on Army anywhere?
Team total? No, I can't. We're not. The first half team totals aren't up yet at the registered books. License. Okay, so in review, John Ryan's on the over 41 at minus 115, and West Virginia minus 6.5, minus 118. Big Ragoo's on Army first half plus 4, minus 111, and the first half over 20.5 at minus 110. Boss and I are on the full game under 42 at minus 110 at Circa. All right, we move on to our final game on the docket for this evening. We'll be back Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Thank you guys so much for joining us here, odds.com. We have the Texas Bowl. Arkansas Razorbacks 3-7 on the season versus TCU Horned Frogs 6-4. Energy Stadium, Houston, Texas. Let's see what we are dealing with from a market perspective. What we have is TCU opening up as 5.5-point favorites. That's moved to 4.5. Now we have 4s on the board, and the 4s come from the leading indicator books. This total has gone to opening up at 57.5, has gone to 57, and now 56.5. Arkansas closed up its regular season with 4 straight losses. Last one was the ugliest, 52-3 loss at home to Alabama. They played that game without their leader of their defense, senior linebacker Grant Morgan, who had 111 tackles, 2 sacks, and 1 interception this year. He's been dealing with a knee injury, and he's been upgraded to probable for this game. Now, their defense was already a problem before losing Morgan. They allow an average of 451.7 yards and 34.9 points per game. Their offense averaged 391.5 yards, scored 25.7 points per game. 6'6" senior quarterback Felipe Franks completed 68.5% of his passes for 2,107 yards, 17 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. There is a belief that freshman KJ Jefferson will get some run in this game, as he is the future of this team. He's expected to get some snaps. Wide receiver Treylon Burke caught 51 passes for 820 yards, 7 touchdowns. Running back Treylon Smith ran 134 times for 710 yards, 5 touchdowns. TCU closed out its season on a 3-game winning streak, winning 59-23 at Kansas, 29-22 at home over Oklahoma State, before defeating Louisiana Tech at home 52-10. Their offense gains 411 yards a game, puts up 30.8 points. Sophomore quarterback Max Duggan completed 60.8% of his passes, throwing for 1,795 yards, 10 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He also ran 116 times for 526 yards and 10 touchdowns. Wide receiver Quentin Johnson caught 22 passes for 487 yards, 22.1 yards per catch, 2 TDs. Their defense is strong. They allowed 24.2 points, 350.9 yards per game. Senior linebacker Derek Waller leads this defense, 90 tackles, 3 sacks on the season. We've gone around the horn here, and we finish up with the Big Ragoo going first here for the Texas Bowl. Arkansas Razorbacks, TCU Horned Frogs, take it away.
Where's this game being played, in Texas?
Yes.
NRG Stadium. The Houston Texans play.
There's a team from Texas that's playing in this game too, and the neighboring team from Arkansas. And TCU won in 4 games, and Arkansas lost their last 4 games, and they won 3 games all season. And you got a pretty good team and defensively in TCU. And Texas and Arkansas struggled and bleeds points. This game sets up perfectly for TCU. This is an easy handicap in my book. I don't know why the hell the line's dropping. There's some dumb people out there gambling. Give me TCU all day to get this job done easily. This will be a max play for me, TCU, when I go to the window.
There's truth that there are many believers who think Arkansas could pull the upset here, and this line has gone from 5.5 down to 4. Very, very tricky. I'm going to line chop for Ragoo. Do you just want full game only?
That's it. Give me TCU full game later 4 points.
I will line chop for you now. Let's let DJ Big Boss take it away. Final game on our card, Arkansas TCU.
Oh, I don't even want to go far into the X's and O's right here. I think it's going to be a rare moment, but I think I'm going to ride with the public on this one and against my guy, Ragoo. I like the Arkansas coming in, getting the win, taking that home with them. And we've seen this happen a lot of times. A lot of these first-year coaches that come in, and if they're a player's coach that gets all the players happy, no matter, despite the season, and we've seen them do it plenty of times, they kick the shit out of somebody in the bowl game, and this might be what be going on right here with Arkansas. So, and I don't like the number 5 anyway. So check this out, Jimmy. I'm like my guy Big Ragoo say, for shits and giggles, but in the contest right here, I'm gonna go ahead and go Arkansas on the money line.
Arkansas on the money line, and we've already had our gas station sushi max betting Arkansas on the money line. First off, Ragoo, you have a decision to make. You want Arkansas -4 at -118 or -4.5 at -105?
Yeah, give me the 4.5. I don't care. They win going away.
-4.5 at -105. That is available at draft.
Can I get an alternate line on this game? Like minus 10 plus something?
Oh,
yeah, I think I could get it for you. Let me just go.
Let's spice this one up.
I might as well set my money on fire then. Shoot.
Okay, here we go. Let's see if I can get that for you here. TCU alternative point spread. Okay, so TCU -7 at +120. -8 at +140. You can also get 7.5, 8.5, 7, 9 at +150, 10 at +162, -11 at +180. I can get you all the way up to 15.
Give me -11 +180.
Oh man, this is Notre Dame versus Alabama.
What did you do? -11 at +180.
Yeah.
Big Ragoo's Big Bama. I'm little old Notre Dame
you
over
touched
here.
the nerve, DJ.
Yeah, you did. Okay, John Ryan, take it away here. I'm just going to put in the money line for our big boss. He's getting +170 at DraftKings. Okay, take it away, John.
Can I just email you my pick?
No, you gotta draw a line in the sand. You gotta draw a line in the sand.
You know what? My line is I'm afraid I'm gonna get hit by a stick though by Big Ragoo, but I'm on Arkansas here too, and I'll give you my little take on it. Arkansas has gotten the crap beat out of them for about the last 5 seasons at least, and this year, whatever reason, they got it together and they won some games and they covered, I believe, was it 6 in a row, and then they got overvalued. Market got them priced. The bandwagon got too big, and then they have come back to earth. However, just like a bullish stock, it rises, it retreats, correction, back up to new highs. And I think in this matchup, Arkansas is more eager to play because they actually have had a better season. And, similar to the Rutgers program where they were a doormat for so many years, and they actually knocked off some of the big boys. And, Arkansas is, they have to be feeling pretty good about themselves, even though the record isn't all that impressive. So, it's amazing. You go into a museum, right? And you're standing next to, your friend or whatever, your wife, and you look at a picture. And as, Big Ragoo looked at the stats. Okay, Arkansas is getting crushed the last 4 games. TCU's on a run. I totally get it. And then I look at the same picture and come up with something a little different. It'll be interesting to see how this game goes. I'm going to be on the money line with DJ, and it's SEC. And by the way, this is the highest SOS of any team we've talked about yet. Arkansas is at 52. TCU out of the Big 12 was at 40, and that's a monumental difference. So that too builds into my my fever.
Hey, you know what it's going to be? SOS, same old shit for Arkansas. Another L. See you at the window.
Wait, stop! I'm gonna cry.
Okay, what an exciting breakdown. We got balls on the table from our experts. My balls are safely in my pocket, and I'm going to have Arkansas +5 at -110 at BetMGM.
I'm locking my doors tonight, man.
Arkansas on the money line by Boss and John Ryan at +170, and Ragoo on the alternate line, TCU -11 at +180. What a fun game to cap. What a great job, you guys. Thank you for capping all of these 8 games for us. We'll be back on Wednesday to continue this. Let's do a quick review, and John, Ragoo, and Boss, listen to see if I make any mistakes here. Okay, the Cheez-it Bowl. John Ryan's on Oklahoma State money line -114. And the team total over 30.5 at -120. Big Ragoo is on the Miami Hurricanes +110 at BetMGM. Big Boss on the over 60 at -112. I'm on first half -115, full game -114, and over 60. I triple up in this game. I am on Oklahoma State. Then we move to the Alamo Bowl, 9 p.m. Eastern. We have Longhorns and Buffaloes. Ragoo's on the first half -4.5 on Texas, and full game -7 at -119. I am as well. Big Boss is on the first half under 32.5, and John Ryan's on the first half under 31, and that comes at +120. He's also on the full game under 63.5 at -105. Then in the Mayo Bowl, Boss is on Wisconsin. John Ryan's on Wisconsin. Ragoo's on Wisconsin, all -7.5. Big Boss also on the under 52.5, and I'm also on the under 52.5. I don't move on Wisconsin. Then we go on the Cotton Bowl. I'm on the first half and full game -1.5, -2.5. So is Ragoo. John Ryan's on the Florida Gators +132, and Big Boss on the over 69.5 -115. Then we get to the very interesting Armed Forces Bowl. Ragoo and I are on Mississippi State at +2.5, and the team total over 22.5. Big Boss is on Tulsa -2.5 and the over 46.5. John Ryan's also on the over 46.5, and I will be tweeting out everybody's action. Then we get to the Arizona Bowl. Big Boss is on the full game under 64.5. He's on Ball State +10. John Ryan's on San Jose State -10. Big Ragoo and I are both on Ball State +10. Ragoo's also on the money line at +290. Then we have the Liberty Bowl. John Ryan's on the over 41 at -115 and West Virginia -6.5. Big Ragoo's on Army first half +4 and first half over 20.5. And Big Boss and I are both on the under 42 at -110. Then we close up shop at NRG Stadium for the Texas Bowl. Big Boss and John Ryan are on Arkansas money line at +170. Ragoo's on TCU -11 at +180. And I'm on Arkansas +5 at -110 at BetMGM. Does that sound right, everybody?
That's a wrap.
Yep.
Beautiful. Great job from our experts, John Ryan, Big Ragoo, DJ Big Boss. So you can see them all again here on Wednesday evening. Big shout out to all the great cappers in the chat. We got a max bet here from our gas station Sushi. But big shout out to everybody in the chat. Marlon Z, Prince of the City, C Mac, Mark Nicholson. Great guys. Great work. Doug Reed in the house, 40 ounce. Beer belly dude. Thank you guys for everything that you put into the show. The Nuke Worker, Gas Station Sushi, Balls on Table ?
Shout out to Gas.
Yeah, what a great guy. He's a great capper. Thank you guys all for your support. And we just got paid in full for the Bills first half. It puts me 8-5 on the week in NFL. I just need the -7 to go 9-5. Love it. Thank you guys very, very much. On behalf of John, Ragoo, Boss, and everybody at odds.com and myself, thank you guys so much for watching. Big Boss, you want to put a bow on this show for us?
Hey, man, y'all just stay safe. New Year's is coming up. Make sure you prep the system. Start drinking dirty water tomorrow and build yourself up from there so you can survive that New Year's day. It's 2020. We got to get it after this. You know what I'm saying? Because the only thing after this is 2021. You know what I'm saying? Because 2021, period. But y'all get out of here and come back and see us. Leche.